Good evening and welcome to a beautiful day on Youngistan. I'm Ramita John with you. കഴിഞ്ഞ ഒരാഴ്ചയായിട്ട് social mediasൽ prayers were flooding for those in Jammu and Kashmir. Kashmiris and tourists ഭക്ഷണമില്ലാതെ വെള്ളമില്ലാതെ സഹായമില്ലാതെ many are still stranded in the valley of what is known as heaven on earth. However, ഈ ഭൂമിയിലെ സ്വർഗ്ഗത്തിൽ ഇപ്പോഴും all signs of civilization has been swallowed. ലക്ഷക്കണക്കിന് വീടുകൾ വെള്ളത്തിൽ മുങ്ങിപ്പോയി, leaving people desperate for health. അങ്ങനെ for the first time in 150 years ഇത്രയും ഇന്റൻസിറ്റിയോടെ ഉണ്ടായ വെള്ളപ്പൊക്കത്തിൽ പെട്ടുപോയ yet a survivor of the flood at Jammu and Kashmir, Apoorva Bose ആണ് ഇന്ന് യംഗിസ്ഥാനിൽ നമ്മോടൊപ്പം ഉള്ളത്. So Apoorva, thank you for joining with me on my show.
Thank you so much.
All right. So it has been a crazy 10 days, അല്ലേ? I don't know if I'm exaggerating, but you saw suffering, destruction and pain. I mean, ഒരു fictional story പോലെ തോന്നുന്നു. ഒരു ട്രെക്കിങ്ങിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ഹിമാലയത്തിൽ പോകുന്നു, അവിടെ ഒരു blackout ഉണ്ടാവുന്നു, you are stranded in a hotel with nobody to help, nobody to call out. I mean, did I miss out on something when I said this?
The thing is, we went there for trekking up, and we were not planning to go to Srinagar city. We went to a place called Sonamarg and we were stuck there up high up in the mountains because it's not supposed to snow. Pashe iprasham manye oru
unpredictable
earlier.
I think media ella media interview kodutappo you had the same thing to say, like you were stuck and you couldn't get and reach out to anybody.
But there I think nammal korchum koodi prepared aayirunnu floods vannappam because we had experienced worse when we were high up in the mountains because avade there's absolutely nothing. There's no, you won't see anybody in sight. It's like just the mountains and you. So korchungudi enda paraya, I think seriousness avade arunnu koodudal undayathu because at least ivade we're stuck in a hotel. It's just that we don't have food and water.
Okay. So what did you survive on when you didn't have food and water?
We in the hotel, the guys with us, they had gone and evidenno paalpodi oppichittundarnu. So we used to have that. And we had 2 bottles of water for the 12 of us. Appo namukku etra naal stuck avunu we didn't know. So we used to have 1 sip a day or maximum 2 sips. That's how we
palpodi and vellam adana ningal survive the food alle. Okay, ഇതിന്റെ ഇടയിൽ ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു സിറ്റുവേഷൻ ഉണ്ടാകുമ്പോഴത്തേക്കും എപ്പോഴും ഒരു നല്ല സമരിയാക്കാനാണ് ഗുഡ് സമരിറ്റൻ എപ്പോഴും കാണും അല്ലേ? യുനോ മീഡിയക്കാരെ ഹൈപ്പ് ചെയ്യാത്ത ആരും കേൾക്കാത്ത ഒരു വോയിസ്ലെസ് ഹീറോ അങ്ങനെ ആരെങ്കിലും കണ്ണിൽ പെട്ടായിരുന്നോ അപൂർവയ്ക്ക് when you were there?
I think for me and for the rest of us in the group, every single guy in our group was like that because avaru enda paraya raatri matte apparthe endo vellapokkam keriyittu korchu pillare kondanirunnu. So there were a lot of other people, like ee hotel there were around 200 people stuck. So what I really appreciated in there were guys called Azim, Najaf, Ayaz naka parnittu, and these guys whatever little thing that we had, you know, went up to them and gave it to them. And what's commendable is our situation nobody else did it, like where oralum cheyidilla because ellarkum swandam survival aanu koodal important,
survival of the fittest.
Exactly
or Indian Hunger Games venengile parayam.
Definitely. So you know it's very nice when you know somebody who's enda paraya nammada kootathilulla oraala when does something, you know, it might be a small act but in that situation for that kid it was something that enda paraya, you know, the kid was crying because he hadn't eaten for a few days and a small protein bar or something like that for them is like heaven. So I think acts like these at that moment counted a lot more than huger acts for all of us.
Okay, so September 6th ennu parayna, I mean ഒരുപാട് ആഗ്രഹിച്ചു പോയതാണ് അല്ലേ, സ്വപ്നം കണ്ടാണ് ഈ ഹിമാലയൻ ട്രെക്കിങ്ങിന് പോയത് and it turned out to be a disaster എന്ന് വേണമെങ്കിൽ പറയാം.
I wouldn't even say a disaster because it was an experience and I'm glad at the age of 20 I had the chance to go through it and I am a survivor of it. So it's an experience that I know I wouldn't forget and anybody in my team also wouldn't forget. So for me it's something that made me learn a lot of things and made me learn that there's no point taking anything in life for granted, even if it is a bed, your parents, your family, your friends, every single person is so important in your life. I think you know, I learned so many things, so I wouldn't call this
exactly coming alle avadate or situation that you have gone through.
Yeah, because I don't think I'll ever take this as a bad experience because I've learned so much.
All right. So, I mean, Apoorva, as a youngster, you might just feel heroic about it. You might just appreciate the moment that you went through. But in group, I'm sure, honeymoon, together, we'll live together, elders before the last wish were there people like that in your group?
In the trekking group, no. I was the youngest and there were married couples and there were friends. So it was a mixed group. We were aware of each other, but we were not in a close group. And everyone was around 34, you know, that sort of age group.
Okay.
So the thing is, what was really heart-touching was that when we were in the hotel, there were two newly married couples. So we always say that these situations, rescue aimbam, it's always best to split people, like split families, because if everyone can't go. So our situations, if one person gets out, and if it's your family, you'll always, you know, get as much help as you can from the person, for the person who's left behind.
Okay.
Paksha, you know, if everyone stays back, these situations, as far as I know, nobody, you know, cares a lot about the other person, especially a stranger.
Okay.
Everyone's, you know, bothered about their life.
Okay.
I don't blame anyone for it because it's something with, I think, our human instinct another. Apna situation. Ellarku സ്വന്തമായിട്ട് ജീവിക്കണം എന്നുള്ള ഒരു mentality ആണ് generally പൊതുവേ ഈ situations ഞാൻ കണ്ടിട്ടുള്ളത്.
അങ്ങനെ കണ്ടായിരുന്നോ when you were there? അങ്ങനെ ഒരുപാട് വന്നായിരുന്നോ? Anger and rage ഒക്കെ വന്നായിരുന്നോ അവസാനം?
Yeah, because ഈ situations I thought people will all like in the unity ആയിരിക്കും, but then oh my god, the amount of fights for stupid things, and we used to all be like, you know,
stupid things because there's nothing to fight about.
Exactly. I'm sure everyone is panicking, പക്ഷേ I think everyone lost it after a point.
Okay.
So kunju കാര്യത്തിന് they used to chumma, you know, start a fight, and it was very disturbing to watch such things, and especially, you know, like I thought it's the first time I'm experiencing something like this, so I had
everybody are like all over the place.
Yeah, and it was crazy, especially when they said, you know, women and children aanu aadyam രക്ഷപ്പെടുത്തട്ടെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നു, you know, when there was a helicopter rescue. So the four of us, there were 4 women with us as in a trekking group in there. So we thought, you know what, you know, let the, you know, other women go first, because we thought, you know, we'll wait. But we were waiting, and you know, there were these few Punjabis. No offense to any Punjabis here, but there were a few Punjabi men there, and started yelling at us. They were like, you know, oh, you guys are from the trekking group, so you know, you're more equipped than all of us. We need to go first.
Okay.
We're like, excuse me,
we are the tourists, we are the weaker section kind of thing.
Yeah, I was like, and the best part is these Punjabi families, after we left, the guys stayed back, like the guys with us. They thought, okay, fine, you know what, let all these men go, we'll stay back, we'll somehow get out of the place. So they went to all these rooms to, you know, scam for food or whatever, and and they had tons of food. They could have survived till December or January very easily. They had, I don't know how they knew that the floods were coming, but they had a lot of food in the rooms.
And nobody knew about this?
No, and they didn't even offer anything for us or anybody. So we were like, you know, it's very disturbing.
That is seriously disturbing.
Yeah, it's quite sickening that way.
Oh my god. Okay, so as you said, I mean, media ഒരുപാട് hype up ചെയ്ത ഒരു വ്യക്തിയാണ് Apoorva. As a celebrity, I'm talking to you, not as a survivor, because you were airlifted from that place and you were brought down here. ഒരുപാട് trivialize ചെയ്ത ഒരു issue ആയിരുന്നു. Apoorva Bose എന്ന വ്യക്തിയെ ഭയങ്കരമായിട്ട് highlight ചെയ്തു. Is it because that celebrity ആയതുകൊണ്ടാണ് പെട്ടെന്ന് കേരളത്തിൽ എത്തിയതെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് there was lots of questioning, there was lots of ആ ഒരു കാര്യത്തിൽ ഒരുപാട് questioning ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. So as a person, what's your take on that?
First of all, ഇവിടെ എത്ര നമ്മൾ പറയാണ് ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരാളുണ്ട് അവിടെ ഉണ്ട്, you can't airlift one person from a place, especially in such situations, because nobody knows anything. The army there, my parents got a news that Tale Dosam I was rescued and put in a stadium, which was untrue. I wasn't. I was still in the hotel. We were rescued from that place.
There was an indoor stadium in between.
No, yeah, we were not rescued to that place or anything. So it was actually just by luck that we got rescued, and that too, and ഞാൻ രണ്ടാമത്തെ ട്രിപ്പിലാണ് അല്ലാതെ it's not like the helicopter came and they called my name, nothing like that. It just happened that അവിടെ നമ്മൾ നമ്മുടെ 3 മാസമായിട്ടുള്ള പിള്ളേരൊക്കെ ഇഷ്ടം പോലെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു ആ ഹോട്ടലിൽ സ്റ്റക്ക് ആയിട്ടുള്ള. So we basically made a huge board, with we had ഒരു cloth വെച്ചിട്ട് we made a board saying babies here, no food, no water. We put it on the aluminium roof. And that's how we got the attention of the helicopter, the chopper that was going around, and that's how they came. And
so nobody knew that you guys were stranded in that, stuck in that hotel?
My parents and all knew, but the thing is, see,
they couldn't contact anybody.
See, JNK is a different entity altogether. So the army has complete control over the situation. So even the government, the central government, their powers, as far as I know, this is what I learned from. I may be wrong, but as far as I know, it's the army that has complete control over the situation. Unless the army does something about it, there's no way you can get help from that place.
So were you conscious of this absence of help from the government?
Yes, we were. No, in the sense, we were not, since we had no communication with anybody, we were more concerned about the fact that whether the army would be packaging or, dropping food and water for us. Because how long can you survive without water?
So there were boats illa, choppers illa.
So there were 3 boats going angotum, but not for us. And choppers, you can't really say anything. We were in a 5-story building. There were other places where people were sinking. So, of course, we were not the priority at that point. So, it's nobody's fault there. And I think the army did an amazing job because നമ്മൾ ഉച്ചയ്ക്കാണ് 10th ഉച്ചയ്ക്ക് 9th ഉച്ചയ്ക്കാണ് നമ്മൾ റെസ്ക്യൂ ചെയ്തത്. 9th immediately we were taken to wherever we want to go. I was taken to Chandigarh initially, and then we were put on a flight to Delhi. So I think everything happened really fast.
After that, post that,
exactly. So evacuation process was slow. So
initial ആയിട്ടുള്ള evacuation process was very slow. അല്ലേ? അത് എല്ലാവരും അറിഞ്ഞു. ഒന്നും നടന്നില്ല ഇവിടുന്ന്.
പക്ഷേ I think നമ്മൾ കണ്ടത് വെച്ച് നോക്കുവാണെങ്കിൽ locals were not really എന്താ പറയുക cooperating with the army.
Really? Because നമ്മുടെ JNKയുടെ ഭാഗത്ത് there is something called the shikaras. ആ ബോട്ട് ഉണ്ടല്ലോ, ഈ ദാൽ ലേക്കിൽ പോകുന്ന ഫ്ലവേഴ്സ് വിൽക്കുന്ന ലോങ് ബോട്ട്സ്, അതാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ റെസ്ക്യൂ ഓപ്പറേഷൻസിന് വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. സോ you guys being a tourist, അവിടെ നിന്ന് വന്നപ്പോൾ ലോക്കൽസിന്റെ ഹെൽപ്പ് കിട്ടിയായിരുന്നോ? Like from them, Kashmiris help?
So whenever we, like initially I didn't see any army boats, or I still haven't seen army boats. So I don't know whether it was army or locals. But there were a few locals who we recognized, were staying in and around our area. So our samet, we asked them, if they can like rescue us or take us to the airport by boat. But they were saying there's so many people who are drowning. So for them,
you
helping
guys are
them,
like on the
exactly, we're still on the 5th floor. But see, the thing is, more than, as far as I think, more than rescuing people, what should have been done is dropping food and water and medicine. Because
medical assistance illarno?
No.
Okay, so were there any ailments? ആരെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നോ? Medical help ആവശ്യം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്ന ആരെങ്കിലും?
Yeah, so there was an auntie with us who had dysentery and severe dysentery. So I had antibiotics with me, thankfully, so that's how we could like help her. But there were a lot of people who had vomiting issues, and because there's no food and water, and we used to sip on bathroom water. So it's not good, especially because we aren't used to it. So immunity ottu illathonde suddenly ingenathe karyangal varumbam it affects your body on a different level,
and then panicking and but honestly speaking, I think we were very calm, calm group. We were more than tourists were probably freaking out, but we were more calm and under control. Okay, so once you were airlifted and when you were brought back, how was it when you came back? How was the feeling? Did you try to contact people in Jammu and Kashmir? Did you ask how they are? എപ്പോഴെങ്കിലും ശ്രമിച്ചോ, കോൺടാക്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ ശ്രമിച്ചോ?
As in the people in Kashmir?
In Kashmir.
We were airlifted and we were brought to the defense airport. So there were a lot of people who were rescued. So I think നമ്മുടെ rescue ദിവസമാണ് like they had actually like started like a full-on rescue mission. And our area was affected quite a bit, Rajbagh and already, because it was a low-lying area. So we couldn't contact anyone outside Kashmir, like our parents or anybody, because the communication systems were completely jammed there.
Yeah, but did you try to contact avade undarna locals ne vilikkan
Yeah, so whoever was with us, like we inquired about, you know, their situation, and they said that, you know, they were going back, you know, to get whoever was left behind. So nammada kude undarna amballare, they had stayed back. Pashe, they were not rescued the next day, or so they stayed the next day. Yeah, so what they did was they took a boat, a local boat, and went to and the local boat dropped them off at a random place. They avadana Kargil was close. They walked to Kargil. They took a car from there, went to Leh, which is around 500 kilometers from there, and from Leh they took a flight to Delhi.
Wow, it's like a very disturbing
trip altogether.
Okay, all right. On a very lighter note, once you got back, you were seen at the International Fashion Week, right?
Yeah.
How did you bounce back to it? It was a situation in the pattern immediately there was a change.
I think for me, yes, it affected me, the whole situation, but I'm somebody who takes it as a positive thing and comes out of it. So I'm not somebody, you know, to dwell on something, you know, bad that happened in my life and, you know, sit in my house and, you know, mourn about it. On the other hand, I would, you know, like to live each day as it is my last. So,
oh my God.
So I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
God forbid.
So, you know, I think for me, going back, you know, getting back, so Hari uncle, the person who I worked for, Hari uncle is a really close family friend. So for the past 2 years, he's been asking me to walk when he for the fashion week. So randu prasham, you know, it didn't happen. So this time, even before I went, he had asked me about it. So I was like, why not? I was excited about it, and I got back on time. So I didn't want to sit in my house, you know, get all the sympathy from people. I was like, why not? I would love to get back to work immediately. I don't want to sit in my house, you know, mourning about what happened and crying over it. No way.
Yeah, it's definitely not what you have to do. Yeah. Now, it was a very good experience, and I'm sure, God forbid, I hope it does not happen to anybody ever again, right? So, so are you trying to contact your friends back in Kashmir? Not friends, but people you met there?
Yes, we had a huge group there, especially the trek leaders. So we'd contacted all of them because they were still stuck in Kashmir. So I spoke to all of them, and they're all fine, and they're all moving to Leh for a few days because Leh is comparatively safer. So they're all okay, and whoever was with us, we saw photos of them being rescued and everything. So quite happy to know that they're all safe.
Thank you so much, Apoorva. Thank you for joining with me.
Problem.
So that was Apoorva for you. ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റിംഗ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യം ജമ്മു ആൻഡ് കശ്മീരിലുണ്ടായ ദുരിതത്തിൽ there were heroic rescue work and selfless relief work. But visually challenged ആയ മുഹമ്മദ് ചെസ് ടൂർണമെൻറ്റ്സ് ഓരോന്നായി കീഴടക്കുമ്പോൾ that becomes a lifetime Hunger Games. ഞാൻ പരിചയപ്പെടുത്തി തരാം, but before that, take a short break.